The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello, this is TVWAN News. I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Rex. I'll join you later in the sports segment.
In this edition, anti-corruption policy launched, QRRA to ref CRU Grand Final, and Hunters ending season on high. Digicel PNG has been named the fastest mobile network in Papua New Guinea for Q1 to Q2 2023 by Ookla, a global leader in connectivity, intelligence and network insights. To determine this award, Ookla analyzed consumer-initiated tests taking on speed tests using modern devices across all major operators in the country. The results of the analysis by Ookla confirms that Digicel achieved the fastest overall mobile speeds in Papua New Guinea. During the time period, Digicel PNG CEO Colin Stone expressed that this award is truly one of great importance as it provides Digicel customers, both business and consumers, the confidence in their decision to choose Digicel. Digicel has always promised to provide a superior network to the people of Papua New Guinea, and today its team can celebrate the fruition of this promise with the Fastest Speed Award from Ookla. The Australia PNG Networks is empowering young professionals to explore digital transformation in the country and inclusivity through the Young Professionals Network. Prominent figures and experts were brought to the YPN panel discussion to explore the rapid digital transformation sweeping through the Pacific region. The recent event highlights the profound importance of collaboration, innovation and inclusivity in shaping the future landscape of Australia and Papua New Guinea. Project Director of the Australia PNG Network, Mihai Sora, emphasized the network's pivotal role in fostering robust cross-border connections and the significance of the network's online presence through its interactive website and vibrant social media platforms. The event calls for more ICT solutions for the government and the organization in the country for the people to embrace the digital evolution. The Prime Minister's Department and National Executive Council launched its anti-fraud, anti-corruption and whistleblower protection policy. At the launch on Thursday, the department emphasized its commitment to an effective anti-fraud and anti-corruption culture by promoting high ethical standards and encouraging the prevention and detection of fraudulent and corrupt activities. Fraud and corruption within the Department of Prime Minister and NEC is evident, deep-rooted, occurring in numerous forms. Commissioner of the Independent Commission Against Corruption, Andrew Forbes, says there is evidence that DEP continues to encounter incidences of fraud and corruption adversely affecting the attainment of the DEP's mission, vision and core functions. Commissioner Forbes went on to say that the department's statement of fraud and corruption is consistent with the accounts that has received since his appointment. Forbes said it has been described that corruption is rife and pervades many aspects of commercial activities and everyday life.
The legislative framework that is the focus of today's launch provides the basis for positive change. Change that will be better for the people of Papua New Guinea. It will take time, and we must start now, and we have started now. While ICAC is one instrument of that change, it cannot do it alone. All stakeholders must be determined and work together to prioritise reducing and preventing corruption. All must act in the public interest and without regard to personal interests.
The anti-fraud, anti-corruption and whistleblower protection policy sets out the DEP's commitment to combat fraud and corruption. The policy aims to provide a strategic direction to strengthen the existing risk, legal and institutional framework. The DPM and NEC declares it has zero-tolerance stance to all forms of fraud and corruption from within the DEP and from the external sources.
The policy, and this is a statement upfront that we mean business and we are not here to tolerate corruption, illegal practices whatsoever of any form in the Prime Minister's Department and henceforth in the public service.
The policy will pursue any proven act of fraud and corruption in a manner of consistency and proportionate manner.
You get the sense that this government is very strong on building the required foundations.
The PM's DEP and NEC emphasized that appropriate sanctions and redress will be pursued against anyone perpetrating or seeking to perpetrate fraud and corruption against the DEP. Commissioner of Police David Manning this week issued to personnel of the Royal PNG Constabulary a circular on the approval of the use of force in execution of their duties. The approved circular aims to protect lives from domestic terrorists and criminal activities due to the escalation of violence, especially in the highlands and other parts of the country. Manning said police personnel must be clear on the extent of their powers and to warn criminals of likely outcomes if they resort to using weapons. Manning said he issued the directive with the full support of the government in order to quell violence, particularly in the Highlands region. He also said members of the RPNGC must be reminded that when using lethal force, they must act in good faith and sound judgment in accordance with the laws. The West Sepik provincial government signed a consultant seed contract agreement with the consultant CJ Valuers Ltd. to commence the preparations of the feasibility assessment study for its Vanimo Border Special Economic Zone early this month. The contract was signed by Provincial Administrator Conrad Tilau, Nuku District Administrator Paul Nengai, and Christopher T., Chief Economist leading the FAS for the consultant. Mr. Tilau said the FAS determines the feasibility and viability of the key elements impacting the development and operation of a successful border SEZ. Its geographical scope covers all of West Sepik, parts of East Sepik, the Papua province of Indonesia and other administrative jurisdictions within the vicinity of the border SEZ. Its content covers global, regional and bilateral geopolitical and security dynamics, economic trade, investment, global value chain, environmental, land, culture, infrastructure, utilities and technological factors. This is TVWAN News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase easy paid units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
Want to know to win a Scale Rice Matchy Pack? Scale Rice is giving away hundreds of really scale prizes for that Scale weekend. Prizes include over 200 Scale Rice Nambi set, over 190 Scale Rice Eskies, 44 JBL speakers with 2 wireless mics. To enter, buy any Scale Rice or Ori Rice product, write your name and contact details at the back of the receipt, drop in the entry box. There's 116 winners fortnightly, 16 promo locations and 4 fortnightly draws. Try us all.
More details in store or follow us on our social pages. Terms and conditions apply.
All Mama Flame is story all same.
Me say you seen flame flower long one yem. Me say me Kim Kai Kai belong family belong me. You go more yet.
Man belong me save like flower balls belong me what them kawa war na spring ania. All pikinini belong me save like him to mas pineapple donut me save walk him lo house. Ne make kumu mix him on them cow na karamapim long flower.
Tasty hash browns.
Time is scaling one time wala pela kai kai. Me save kissing more kai kai long all get a toya me tromoy one time flame flower.
You in a packing more one time flame flower.
From the rich soils of the highlands, the finest coffee has been grown by generations of Papua New Guineans. Expertly blended and roasted with over 80 years of experience, making the finest cup of Nescafe New Guinea blend. PNG's own coffee.
Open bets.
Steps off the left and Connor Broadman. That's a lucky one. The Wanderers running away. Mosley, they'll kick through for Liam Horn. Horn's going to get there first. Oh, Phillip turned into a hero. Going to come back to Dan McStay, set up for a goal, but Coleman and McStay bends it home. Saturday afternoon footy, and she's over. They're about to take the lead. In 2 games, and no one was stopping it.
Welcome back. Laulu Primary School in Ward 10 of Labutu, LLG Nawaib District, received funding support and new solar kits recently. Funding support of 5,000 kina was given to the school board to complete a new classroom. Nawaib MP Theo Pelgan and DDA members were at the school to officiate at the opening of a new teacher's house funded through DSIP. MP Pelgan assured the school a water supply system and other infrastructure will be considered for funding. He said the solar lighting kit is part of the bigger rollout for all schools in Nawaib to be kitted with solar lighting systems to enhance learning. Minister for Internal Security Peter Siamalili Jr. has met with the East New Britain Provincial Executive Council through an inaugural ministerial provincial dialogue in Kokopo on Wednesday, the 16th August. Siamalili said the dialogue provides the platform for all stakeholders in the law enforcement space to engage in more strategic approach in addressing law and order issues in ENB and the NGI regions. He said the discussion is a proactive move towards promoting collaboration, dialogue, and real action in dealing with the critical problem of internal security within the province. He added that the dialogue will backdrop recognizing the critical need for setting a course towards a more secure and resilient East New Britain province. Coastal villages in East New Britain province have been encouraged to keep their beachfronts clean and to not throw rubbish into the sea. Provincial Climate Change and Program Officer Marian Wariga shared this on Wednesday the 15th of August during a beach cleanup program in Lalakua Ward, Raluana, LLG in Kokopo.
Hosted by the Manila Foundation, the theme of the cleanup program, Green Skills for Youth Towards Sustainable World, focuses on the importance of climate change and environment sustainability. Provincial Climate Change and Program Officer Maylin Waraga said under the Natural Resource Management and Development Unit, they have 2 programs, Climate Change and Environment Management and Conservation. The program was established specifically for communities to understand the basics of environmental protection and address climate change issues. She said this is a good initiative and Manila Foundation has set an example for other coastal villages to take part. Manila Foundation founder Hema Oliver said she started the program in 2020 with students from the University of Natural Resources and Environment. They conducted awareness on marine conservation with local communities because they saw the need. Oliver said the increase in law and order issues is one factor that pushed the organization to develop this initiative and engage the youth. The program saw UNHRI fisheries and climate change students, youths and children from Yalakua Ward clean up plastics, bottles and other man-made rubbish from Barovon Ward Beach to Yalakua Ward. Tracy Pa, TVWAN News.
Around 5 million kina was endorsed by 8 CMCA and Mine Villages Women and Children Association towards the investment in the Oktedi Mining Limited 150-man Donga project for its bigger operations. A dummy check was received by Program Manager Steve Hwap at the Kasuari Hotel this week. CEO of Oktedi Development Foundation, Havini Vira, acknowledged the collective determination of the CMCA Women Associations. On behalf of OTML, Hwap expressed his gratitude when receiving the investment. He stated that this initiative will generate significant returns for the women and their communities. And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2780 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2705 US, $0.4200 Australian dollars, $0.2412 euro, and 39.06 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, cocoa, copra, and crude oil closed higher, while coffee, palm oil, and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, ASX closed lower, and all ordinaries closed lower as well. You're watching TV1 News. Stay with us. We have news from abroad. When we return, come back.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase easy paid units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager, Bunyamyumi.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in Milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in Milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Find PNG made.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young plana lapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
Beauty is my business, but beauty sure is a tough game. Filters are great, but great skin, better. And that's why my skin deserves the best. So I choose self-care, soaps that gently nourish my skin, resulting in a radiant look, made with tropical ingredients. I trust self-care from City Pharmacy. So bring it on! My skin is ready and so am I.
Race Stone's over. do, and it's Jonas Venn with the opportunity! The first opportunity of the game for Wolfsburg, and they make it count!
They really are the ones that jumping together as there's the opener after 2.5 minutes. As the final whistle goes here, they're just waiting for confirmation.
And we're back. Vanuatu's opposition party boycotted parliament on Thursday and said it would lodge a court challenge to the defeat the previous day of its bid to remove Prime Minister Ismail Kalsakau. Kalsakau narrowly survived a no-confidence motion on Wednesday, with the opposition falling one vote short of the 27 needed to unseat him after criticizing his government for signing a security pact with Australia. Vanuatu was plunged into a political crisis after opposition leader Bob Luman lodged the no-confidence petition, which also criticized the government for raising the minimum wage. Luman drew Vanuatu closer to China before losing a snap election in 2022. He said in Parliament on Wednesday that the country's impartiality had been compromised by the Australian security deal and infrastructure development could be at risk. He said Vanuatu should not be sucked into a game it does not want to be used inappropriately by competing nations to exert dominance in the region. Residents in southern and central Queensland are being warned of warm temperature and gusty westerly winds coming together this weekend, making an early start to the fire season.
Areas of greatest concern are sort of south of the tropics, the southern half of Queensland, particularly areas in the southeast corner, as we start to see. It's interesting, last night we had some thunderstorms in the area, but there is a southwesterly change coming through. That'll bring lower humidity, bring lower temperatures, but also stronger winds, and we're already starting to see those in some parts of the state, and it will come through. That in turn will drive up the fire danger through the day. Yeah, the most important things that families can do is to absolutely to prepare themselves. We've been working with all our partners to mitigate the risks going into the season, but you can't mitigate everywhere, and of course that only reduces the risk, it doesn't eliminate it. So what we need from the families as a partner and community as a partner with ourselves is what we need you to do is prepare your bushfire survival plan. Do those little things around the house that can help protect your property, such as cleaning your gutters, maintaining your yard and so on. And also a key part of it is being very careful not to create any ignitions, start any fires. For example, last weekend we had a number where we picked up the cause of the fire being simple things like slashing, mowing in long grass without any ability to put out a fire if it starts, or even welding and so on. So we really ask people to be careful, because regardless of the conditions, if we don't have a fire start, that's the best outcome for everybody.
Weather-related disasters and climate change impacts are unraveling the fabric of society in the Southwest Pacific. The State of the Climate in the Southwest Pacific 2022 report provides a snapshot of climate indicators, including temperatures, sea level rises, ocean heat and acidification, and extreme weather events in 2022. It also highlights the socio-economic risks and impacts on key sectors like agriculture. Compared to 2021, the number of reported disaster events decreased. However, economic losses increased. Economic damage due to flooding was $8.5 billion, almost triple compared to the previous year, with most of the damage attributable to a series of flooding events in Australia. Tropical storms Maggie and Nalgae caused devastating flooding in the Philippines. Meantime, the report shows how the agriculture sector is one of the most critical sectors affected by climate-related disasters. Enhancing the resilience of food systems is therefore a high priority. 200 water voles have been released by conservationists into a restored nature reserve in northwest England as part of the efforts to reintroduce the species to the area.
Making a swift comeback. Even when they're thriving in the landscape, water voles are not easy to spot. They were almost wiped out here over the last century, but conservationists have now brought the threatened mammals back to the Lake District.
The river here was missing the water vole,
Through their burrows, they'll dig up through the soil, they'll bring soil nutrients to the surface, which helps with vegetation. They themselves are consumers of vegetation, so they'll nibble bits of plants, leaving room for other plants to come through, so changing the plant composition of the banks. It's fabulous in being able to see those extra pieces of things that are missing from the landscape.
200 animals bred in captivity and transported more than 350 miles to Cumbria are checked before being released into their new home near Haweswater. Most of them will be introduced to this habitat inside these special soft-release pens.
Just very carefully carrying the water voles down onto the site. It's been prepared for about 2 years, this area, but it's being kept a secret, the exact location, to protect these mammals.
A key way this habitat has been prepared for today is by controlling the population of non-native American mink, predators that decimated the water vole population. Volunteers will check on the pens daily until the doors are opened in about 3 days' time. For a few of the more mature voles, though, it's straight into the water. And while some are enthusiastic to swim, others seem keen to hide in the undergrowth.
It's really exciting. They're an important component of the landscape. Their effects on vegetation by the way they burrow and how they make little lawns and graze. But they also provide a really good food source for native predators, the kind of animals that should be preying on water voles and eating them. It's just good to see them back where they should be, returning them back to the place where they should be in the first place.
In total, for this project, 350 animals will be released in 2 locations in Cumbria, bringing a missing species back to the landscape where it belongs.
The Western Australian government is delaying the closure of a coal-fired power station after a report revealed the state could face a shortfall in electricity supply by 2025.
Keeping Muja 6 on to keep WA's lights on. For the Boston family, who've worked with coal for generations, 6 months won't change much.
Relatively small fry, yeah.
And they're not convinced it'll be the last extension.
A lot of it's kind of up in the air about how long things are going to last.
The region calling for certainty.
State government probably was premature in announcing the closure of the coal power stations when it did. I think our concerns are that there isn't still a good detailed plan sitting behind that transition.
The Energy Minister says work is underway to meet future demand.
NAON is currently building a battery in Collie as a response to the Australian Energy Market Operator, and Alinta Energy is just today announcing that they're also going to build a battery at Wagerup in response to the Australian Energy Market Operator.
But those projects were already factored into AEMO's forecasts.
We are seeing growth in our large industrial loads and indeed new loads for things like new lithium mines and processing facilities in the state.
Population growth, air conditioning and electric vehicles also playing a role.
And I just remind people that the Energy Market Operator's report is called a statement of opportunity. That's the reason we do it that way, because these are the opportunities for investment here in Western Australia.
The solution from the government is simply to hope that the private sector will step in and save the day.
Connection delays and inadequate transmission infrastructure a barrier to investment.
We're competing with New South Wales and Victoria and America and Europe for all of these assets and for all of these pieces of equipment. And they're not dilly-dallying, but we are.
But the government insists investment and jobs are on the way.
Pacific ministers attending the 3rd ministerial meeting on meteorology in Nadi, Fiji, have been urged to stand in solidarity to strengthen weather, climate, water, ocean and related development services in the context of sustainable development. The call comes from Fiji's Minister for Public Works, Communications, Transport and Meteorological Services, Ro Filipe Tuisawao. The PMMM3 provides the opportunity for ministers to discuss the critical role of national meteorological, hydrological services and their contributions to both national and regional safety and sustainable development. The Secretary-General of WMO, Professor Peteri Ta'alas, highlighted the importance of the early warnings for all initiative as an effective tool for climate adaptation. He said early warning is one of the most effective ways of reducing damage from disasters, as it empowers people to make risk-informed decisions for food, security, as well as other sectors. After 56 years absent from their ancestral home, the vulnerable golden bandicoot species have been reintroduced to a safe haven north of Alice Springs.
From locally extinct to this moment. Golden bandicoots touching down in the desert lands they once roamed. Nearly 9,500 hectares of predator-free land at New Haven Sanctuary, a safe haven for a strong future. The journey long and rewarding.
It's been, really emotional for that whole process. Being able to see them, find them, see them process and then deliver them on this end.
Extensive efforts by ecologists and rangers in the Kimberley ensuring the population is strong enough to share.
To be able to do the survey and know that there was enough to be able to help out and bring them back to other areas of their country was a really cool experience.
A significant moment between custodians of country while pre-elders reunited with creatures they haven't seen since they were children.
It's good to see the people from here happy, especially the old people, to have bandicoots again.
The golden bandicoots have travelled over 1,000 kilometres to their new home here at New Haven Sanctuary, a significant step to revive the population. 40 of the cute creatures released this week, with another 60 to come, joining 7 other species reintroduced at the safe haven.
It's really, really cool that they're back here, and we hope that the population here will be able to adapt to the arid environment.
The work already underway, with 2 young birthed during the flight, an encouraging sign.
What we sort of aim to do here is to reintroduce these animals back to the former landscape, which has a lot of conservation purposes, but also cultural significance as well.
A golden creature with a bright future.
And that ends the news segment. In sports, CRU Grand Final and Lahanis to pass Gurias.
It's in the highs and in the lows. It's in the big things and the small things too. It's hard to put into words, but you'll know it when you see it. Terrain tamer, when quality counts.
The ICC Men's Cricket World Cup 2023 is almost here.
Oh, out! What a beauty! He's on absolute fire! In the corner, gets there! Gentlemen, the wheel! Wheel is there! There's a try for the Cowboys!
Monster machines, huge hubs, colossal constructions, mega movers. In a world full of big demands and tight competition, only the best delivers.
If it could be bigger, they would make it bigger.
Yes! Mega Monday, streaming now on Outdoor.
The PNG Fashion and Design Week Limited brings to you the 2023 Fashion for Peace Runway. This year's runway is set for the 19th of August 2023 and is set to deliver the best in design, style, elegance and art. With the inclusion of well-known labels like AA Tribal, Denani, Kenny Collection, New Guinea Native and Baiwa. You cannot miss out on a runway that promises to deliver to expectations. See you there.
Acknowledge me. Oh, a Samoan spike. With a phenomenal forearm. The women's champion Asuka is in the ring on SmackDown. You're looking at the judge, the jury, and the executioner right now.
Hi and welcome to Adventure All Stars, the travel show with a difference. Every episode features authentic cast members travelling to secret locations. They don't know where they're going or what they'll be doing as they uncover the best and most exciting experiences on the planet. Prior to filming, the stars of today's show raise vital funds for their nominated charity, and their reward is the trip of a lifetime.
Everything about this trip has changed my life.
It's really hard to put it into words. It actually gets me quite emotional.
You just have to trust that everybody has your back. You will have the best time of your life. Everybody should do this.
Real people, real emotion, real adventure. This is Adventure All Stars.
Thanks for staying with us. In sports, the Pepsi Capital Rugby Union will witness the grand final rematch of last year's between Credit Corporation Harlequins and Kramausenko Brothers this Saturday at the Santos National Football Stadium. Brothers will be looking to avenge their defeat in last year's grand final. The Kramausenko brothers head into finals with hard lessons learned from last year's defeat by Credit Corporation Harlequins. Brothers coach Joe Kautu said last year's loss is motivating them to put their best performance forward.
We are really prepared for this game. Our loss last year is, made us come back really strong this year. And I'm sure my boys are going to be backing me up, and I'm always going to be there for them. And it's not going to be a secret. We're coming in to reclaim the title.
Kautu said Harlequins has been a benchmark team in the competition and it would be a great game against them. Harlequins, on the other hand, overcame Defence and Piggies in the semi-finals and are counting down the hours to defend their title.
We're not kidding ourselves this weekend. We're going to turn up ready, I know that, but at the same time we know the challenge is in front of us. And they are the hot favourites, so it's going to be something that we always like to look forward to try and challenge ourselves to turn up. And we're working towards that. We've done little things to try and fix those areas, but yeah, the team's got to turn up on the day, and that's probably the biggest challenge for us this year. We've been on and off a lot of times. Praying that the on team turns up on Saturday.
Coach Rapila said brothers have a bigger forward pack in the competition and it would trouble his side. The form all across the park is great and is already strategizing to limit the impact of brothers' key players. While Harlequins claim the underdog tag, brothers are all in this match to reclaim the Pepsi Capital Rugby Union title. Two international referees from Queensland Rugby Referee Association will be taking charge of the Pepsi Capital Rugby Union competition grand final matches at the Santos National Football Stadium this Saturday. Ed Carrick and Jess Craig will be officiating the women's and Premier Men's Division Grand Final matches. The Pepsi Capital Rugby Union Grand Final matches will be refereed by two members of the Queensland Rugby Referee Association. Ned Carrick will referee the Premier Grade match between Kramausenko Brothers and defending Premier's Credit Corporation Harlequins. Jess Craig takes charge of the women's clash between reigning premiers Harlequins and Juggernauts. Carrick is no stranger to the country, having been here for work with the Port Moresby General Hospital and PNG Sustainable Development Program. He said coming to PNG as a rugby referee is a first-time thing, and he expects to meet some familiar faces at the Santos National Football Stadium on game day. Minor premiers and red-hot favourites for the 2023 Digicel ExxonMobil Cup, EPG Enga Miocs are bracing themselves to continue their fairy tale this weekend when they face second-place Lace Next Tigers in the first major semi-final qualifier on Sunday at the Santos National Football Stadium. It's been an amazing season for the Miocs with a record 15 wins and a draw, setting a new record in the history of domestic National Rugby League competition.
Reaching the pinnacle of the country's premier competition, let alone lifting the major silverware,
would be the ultimate goal for every team competing in the PNG NRLC Digital Action Mobile Cup. After the unblemished run through regulation season and the minor premiership title in the bag, Anga Mioks remain steadfast in their belief and process to get through to the big one on September 3. The sudden rise of Anga franchise has been a whirlwind success story for rising coaching prowess, and Hagen Eagles reject Pili Gao. In front of them is their Pool A arch-rivals Lay Snakes Tigers, coached by former PNG Hunters halfback centre Noel Zeming. The Lay side has a wealth of finals experience and rising talents. For the record, Mioks beat Tigers twice this year. However, finals football is a different ball game, with the result could go either way. This is looming to be a battle of the halves. Mioks, Gary James and Sam Francis versus Tigers, Mark Tony and Joshua Lau. Discipline in the execution and controlling set plays through the middle would be key to get their offensive rolling forward. For Mioks, enforcer and sole survivor of the 2018 Grand Final veteran Super Kokote, 2023 would be his swan song and vow to go out on a high. Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
Bintanga Goroka Lahanis won't be resting on their laurels this Sunday when they meet 2022 Digicel Cup Grand Final runners-up Egmac Rabaul Gurius in the minor semi-final playoff at the Santos National Football Stadium. Both teams are expected to come out with all guns blazing, keeping their finals hope alive. Loser bows out while winner proceeds to the preliminary week next weekend.
The Lahanis underdog name tag shouldn't be an understatement if last week's upset win over defending premiers Hello Wigman was anything to go by. Today, under a different coach, Lahanis showed glimpses of their 2018 fairy tale finish when they fought their way from sixth spot to lift the major silverware after beating minor premiers then Anga Mioks 10 points to 6. Gurias know that too well and won't be taking them lightly come Sunday, with sudden death awaiting. After last week's 2 points win over Muruks, Gurias would be looking to improve big time, especially discipline in their defense and ruck infringements. Halves Ase Boas and Wesley Batari and hooker Nathan Tenter need to be on their game. Gurias have a much more heavier and robust forward pack, and if they use them effectively, that should set the platform for their speedy backline led by last week's 3-try hero and man of the match Alex Max. For Lahanis coach Charlie Wabo, his instruction would be to keep it simple, complete the sets and back it up with strong defense. Captain Charlie Booker again would be calling the shot for his young chargers Roger Kenny and Israel Balio at the halves, who are ready to back themselves up again after their courageous upset win over Premiers Wigman last week. The Apo boys have enough big game experience in their lineup to match the Gurias led by their former Hunters veteran Thompson Tete, Big Christopher Urakusi, Ake Paluse, Philip Iveke and Joseph Moke at the back. It will be a close one, however. If Lahanis play their cards right, another upset could be looming. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
The stakes will be high at the Bishop Park on Saturday, 19th August, when the SP PNG Hunters face North's Devils in round 22 of the QRL Host Plus Cup. Both the Devils and the Hunters are part of the cluster of teams just outside the top 8 with one round remaining. Both sides will be desperate to finish the season 2023 on high. The season may be over for the Hunters, but they are well positioned to do themselves and their fans proud, having produced some of the best performance of the season over the last 2 months. Seated at the mercy of finals-bound clubs Tweed Seagulls, Central Queensland Capras and Redcliffe Dolphins, the PNG Hunters truly turned a corner throughout the 2023 campaign and should be proud. They have one last chance to impress this Saturday against the North's Devils, who will be desperate to make atones for a disappointing 2023 campaign. The Devils haven't tasted victory since a round 19 win over the last-placed Ipswich Jets, having fallen short to the Western Clydesdales and Sunshine Coast Falcons in the last fortnight. They will have plenty to play for on Saturday, however, in what will be clubman Jack Aaron's last game for Norths in the Host Plus Cup. Hunters right centre Roderick Tai has arguably been the Hunters' best this year on the back of a full preseason with the Dolphins NRL squad. Under the watchful eyes of head coach Stanley Tappend, the Hunters have learned to play to their strengths this season and find some consistency across and throughout their performances. Key to this has been the contribution of the Hunters senior players and spine members. Hunters captain Ila Alu has enjoyed a career season after overcoming an injury in round 11. The workhorse lock forward is averaging a team-high 128 run meters per game. Forwards Junior Rob, Epel Capinius and Benji Court have also capitalized on injury-free years. Hunters halfback Jamie Mavoko has been a mainstay in the side after struggling for consistency in 2022. Mavoko has been well supported by rookie sensation Moria, who has given the Hunters a level of class in the backline that they haven't enjoyed in previous years. And around the ruck, Judah Rimbu's transition from utility to starting dummy half has seen the young playmaker take his game to new heights in 2023. The number 6 jumper this year has a wealth of depth in the position. Sakias Komati, Joshua Mire and Joshua Lau all impressed with their first taste of the Host Plus Cup and provide competition for sports in the furious contested squad. While the finals bet is out of reach this season, the Hunters have shown enough to be considered genuine finalist contenders next year with another whole pre-season training together. Hunters Devils match kicks off 3 p.m. this Saturday at Bishop Park, Brisbane. See it live on TVWAN Sports 3. Despite showing glimpses of success, SP PNG Hunters 5'8" Sakias Komati was dropped in favour of Junior Lau, who traditionally plays at centre and wing. After 2 rounds of being out, Komati has been recalled for Saturday's match against North Devils in Brisbane. Komati has been biding his time with the Gas Resources Central Labaris in the DGSL ExxonMobil Cup before being recalled for Hunters' final regulation round match. Komati may slot straight into starting role at his preferred number 6 position. The rest of the team remain unchanged. The Hunters made the impressive start to the season only to lose their grind midway through the season. The team will once again miss out on September football. To overseas, a remote North Queensland community has started their own rugby carnival to give local competitive outlet.
Watching the action or taking a head count of the crowd, it's hard to believe this Rugby Sevens match is taking place in Hughenden, a town in northwest Queensland, usually home to about 1,000 people.
Make sure we're getting deep, like don't stand in front of your person. It'll be interesting, like we haven't all played together before.
Not due to lack of interest, instead it's time, distance and resources, the main barriers to playing competitive sport in the country.
And we all like watching it on TV, so why not put it on in our own towns?
It was originally the brainchild of these women who saw a passion to play in their own children.
Talked to my coffee lady this morning. She's going to be there at 9 in the morning.
They put the call out for help back in 2012 and were inundated.
And it was bringing people who were probably a bit isolated and need a bit of companionship. It was bringing them into the pub for the meeting because we were always having our meetings there.
The Great Western Hotel's become one of the main beneficiaries of the annual Rugby Carnival, as well as hosting a fun tradition where all teams are auctioned off to the highest bidder. Bar sales quadruple.
We go from 0 to 100 miles an hour within a couple of hours.
On game day, locals get 8 hours, 31 matches of live rugby. The family-friendly atmosphere, part of the reason the event only continues to gain popularity.
The introduction of the women's game revived the carnival in its early days. Of the 18 teams competing, 6 are made up of female players, with a wait list of women wanting to take part each year.
We don't even play rugby. So for us it's just the camaraderie about getting together.
That's a greater prize than winning any championship.
Another one in here.
Uniting sports fans in the bush.
Melbourne's Federation Square has been axed as a live site for the remainder of the Women's World Cup after dozens of flares were let off among a crowd at maximum capacity during Wednesday night's semi-final.
Behind me here is very much empty, but that's in stark contrast to the wild scenes that we saw during the Matildas semi-final against England on Wednesday night. Now, what was really meant to be a family-friendly environment where people could cheer on the Tillies or maybe even the Lionesses quickly dissolved into something that was very ugly indeed. A small group of unruly fans stormed through security barriers, and if that's not enough. More than 50 flares were let off. Now, police say several of those entered the crowd of about 12,000, and 4 men have since been fined just over $960 for possessing flares, and police say they're now looking at CCTV of flare incidents on Wednesday night, so it's very likely we could see more fines or even charges flow. And along with I guess the police investigation into this matter, I've just spoken to cleaners here at the site who say they're still cleaning up the mess left behind by those flares on Wednesday night. Now, it's unfortunate because all of this has led Fed Square management to decide to pull the pin on screening the rest of the tournament here at the site due to safety concerns. Now, this follows discussions with event organisers, and that decision was made in conjunction with police. Now, the Premier, Daniel Andrews, definitely didn't hold back when he was asked to comment on the behaviour of those people behaving badly on Wednesday night. Have a listen to what he had to say.
In relation to behaviour at Federation Square, I don't reckon any member of the Matilda squad would want people behaving that way. I certainly don't. Like, it wasn't the night people wanted, but there's no excuse. Like, flares are illegal, banned for a reason. They're really, really dangerous.
Now, not all is lost for lovers of the beautiful game here in Melbourne. Fans will still be able to gather at Amy Park, which is now the main live site, to watch the Tillies play Sweden in the third place playoff, and that site will also be used to screen the final between England and Spain on Sunday night.
And that ends the sports segment. Here is the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
That ends another edition of TV1 News. Pleasant weekend. Bye for now.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.